takes a great deal of courage to stand up to your enemies, but a great deal more to stand up to your friends.
If I murdered someone, she's the person I'd call to help me drag the corpse across the living room floor. She's my person.
I stepped up. She's my friend, and she needed help. If I had to, I'd pee on any one of you. Welcome to the Best Friends Playbook podcast.
With your hosts, Crystal and
Alicia. We've known each other for over 27 years, and we're here to share our wisdom on friendships in film, TV, and literature.
So grab some coffee, our favorite, and get cozy.
Hello. Welcome back to the Best Friends Playbook podcast with Alicia
and Crystal.
How are you today?
Not good.
Not good. Crystal's stealing.
It's like life just hurts today.
It just hurts.
It's like I have jet lag. I'm hungover. I'm on my period.
Yeah, you just got back from Israel.
Yeah, it's just no bueno today. So
lots of things going on.
I'm extra slow. That's why.
All right. So as we told you in last week's episode, we're switching it up a bit and we're doing the Sisterhood of the Traveling Pants. All 4 characters.
Yay. It's our first time doing an episode that's not Lord of the Rings.
I know. It feels like weird to be leaving it.
Yeah. Kind of wrong.
Yeah. But it's also like nice to do something new and different today.
Yeah.
This is a great coming of age story, specifically relatable for young girls in their teens, but I think it's definitely interchangeable for any gender you identify with. It's about 4 girls, all born around the same time, whose mothers met in a Lamaze class. It focuses around the first summer they've ever spent apart, and before they leave, they find a pair of pants that magically fit them all, which is pretty awesome. They may be all over the world, but the pants are what keeps them together to help them during the rough times alone.
I swear to God, we put the same thing. A true coming of age story.
I may have looked at your notes.
Okay.
My brain was hurting when I did these notes.
All right. Yeah. So what was funny though, by the way, is I had mentioned this to somebody last night that we were doing Sisterhood of the Traveling Pants today. And the first comment was like, I find it really hard to believe that like one pair of pants could fit all girls. And I'm thinking, that's really not what the story is about. Like that is just like such a tiny part. The pants just bring them together and like unite them. It's totally bullshit. Like that could never happen.
And
you know?
apparently she doesn't believe in magic.
Yeah.
She never got a letter to Hogwarts.
I know.
That's what that's about.
Maybe, but yeah.
No, yeah, the movie, it's the pants are...
It's just a tool.
Yeah, like I talk about that in their arcs and stuff. It's kind of like Linus and his blanket. It just makes them feel better.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I even put right here that the pants are what helps them uncover their true selves, you know?
Yeah.
It takes them out of their comfort zone. It makes them dig deeper as an individual and figure out like what kind of a person they're going to be, you know? Because they're teenagers. They don't know yet.
Yeah, sometimes you need like something to push you, and if that means believing in something silly, you know, you got to do what you got to do.
Yeah. Pants don't really fit all those people.
That'd be cool though.
My jeans barely fit me, so... All right, obvious. Friends since birth. Mothers met in, I put prenatal class, but like it's the same thing. It's a Lamaze class, right?
Same thing, yeah.
They finish each other's sentences and encourage each other, which is like totally what you and I do. So they have a major life change during the summer.
I put that also. I said an emotional barrier to overcome and break through because of all this struggle to show their true emotions.
Yeah, basically shit goes down during that summer.
And they gotta grow up.
They all believe the pants will bring them luck, and then they all believe that it's gonna bring them bad luck, and then they go back to believing in the luck part. So they just have this weird obsession with the magic of the pants.
I also put they know how to be honest with each other even when it's really tough.
True. Yeah, I'm with you on that. Like, they are not afraid to argue with each other. Like some friends.
Fight that Carmen and Libby have. That was intense. All right, differences. So this was hard for me, so I just have like one thing for each character on how they're all different from each other. I put Lena is very shy and conservative, and she likes to bottle up her feelings. Bridget is very outgoing, but also likes to use it as a way to avoid her emotions. Carmen feels a lot, and she's very caring and sensitive. Libby likes to hide her emotions and be very pessimistic. And I also put that Lena's afraid to be her true self and experience anything.
True. So what's funny is when I was rereading my first difference here, I don't know what the fuck I meant. Look at this. Together they form one single person. I don't know what I meant by that. And then I put dash, personality and style-wise, they are all very different and individual. But I don't understand what the together they form one single person. I don't know
were
where
you drinking when you watched it?
No, I was sick when I watched it.
Oh, well, there you go. You were drunk on NyQuil probably.
But and I feel like there's something behind this comment, but I just don't remember what it is. So yeah, so we'll just have to
maybe you will discover the epiphany during our
as
plot
we're talking.
points.
That's usually what happens. Okay, other differences. Oh, they go to separate places over the summer. Duh. And then hold on, what does it say? Oh, they all have totally different family dynamics, which is very true. Like, you know, think about Bridget and her dad are like no talkie, no emotion.
Yeah, that was actually something I forgot I also put in similarities, which is that they all have issues with their family, big or small.
True. Yeah. Which is like everybody, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah, so totally different family dynamics. Carmen like comes from a broken house, and Tibby like feels like she's, I don't know. I feel like she feels like she's alone in her house. Like,
yeah, I think her parents work a lot.
Yeah, and she gets stuck with her like siblings, and I think that bothers her or whatever. And then Lena, you never see her with her parents, but just like the dynamics with her grandparents, it's very interesting.
Yeah, I think Lena comes from like a very shy conservative household where like they don't talk about things. They don't really talk to each other. It's like you go to school, you do your work. They're not super open.
Yeah. The last difference I said is that they rely on each other for different things. What the hell? I don't know what I meant by
We've learned that Crystal should not take notes while she's sick because she has beautiful epiphanies and can't remember what they mean.
And not try to understand them when I'm hungover because I don't know what this meant. They rely on each other for different things. I guess like I think maybe, you know, there's 4 of them, and if you notice, like they'll never call each other at the same time. They like when, you know, Tibby, I can't remember if Tibby was upset or Carmen was upset, but like they called each other. They don't call everybody. They just call like the one, I guess, that maybe understands them the most. I don't know.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. Like one is closer to the other, kind of like from the movie Now and Then. Like there was 4 friends, but there would always be like one that the other one was more close to in the group versus everyone else.
Yeah, something like that, because they don't I don't know, they just like call each other for different things. Different people. They don't call all of them together unless they're just together in person. So yeah, whatever. I don't know what that really meant, but I tried. So.
All right, pivotal plot points. Okay, so the girls have literally been together their whole lives, and right before they're about to spend their first summer ever separated, they find a pair of jeans that literally fits them all, and they're all different shapes and sizes, so it's a big deal. Leading them to share the pants over the summer, which is a way to keep them bonded. And then after that, before they go away for the summer, I'm pretty sure this is Carmen's idea. They do like a seance or like a gathering over the candles to manifest the sisterhood, and they make rules for while they're wearing the pants. And one of them is they have to write letters to each other about the most exciting thing that's happened and send it to the next person, which is definitely a really good rule, because if they hadn't gotten the pants, would they still have talked to each other over the summer?
Yeah, I don't know. That's a good question. I mean, the pants, once again, are just like a tool to make them talk to each other and send each other stuff. The one thing I would throw in before all of that, which is weird because I put it as number 2, so clearly I wasn't thinking when I did it, is Bridget's mom passes away, and they show that in the very beginning.
Oh, wow, thank you.
Because it was like, but that wasn't like when they were 16. It was like, I think it was a couple years prior, I feel like, because they all look a little younger, maybe.
It has to be recent, though, because it drastically affects her when she's away at summer camp.
Maybe it was. Oh, yeah. I feel like they mentioned how long it had been. I think it was maybe a couple months. Maybe it wasn't years. But either way, the mom passes away first, and then all the shit goes down that she just said.
And then the next one, I start with Lena.
Yeah, Lena writes Tibby. Or I don't know, you tell me what it is.
Well, for me, so I put that she's the first to wear the pants in Greece, visiting her grandparents.
Yeah, we're on the same wavelength.
Yeah, and she's overwhelmed by all the love happening around her, and she notices a cute guy at his boat, and she's drawing, and she leans over to look at his ass and falls into the water. Her foot gets stuck, and the cute guy saves her, and he asks her out, but of course, because Lena is Lena, she runs away all scared.
Yeah. Yes, I wrote that too. We're on the same page.
Cool.
So that's like her first big like encounter, right, with Costas?
Mm-hmm. So cute.
But what's funny is like what she writes to Tibby is that like that the pants are horrible and they bring her bad luck because she almost dies and like,
but she doesn't realize they bought her Costas.
Yeah, she doesn't interpret it as a good thing. She interprets it only on the bad side.
Yeah.
So, and then I have that Tibby wears the pants when she meets. Okay, well, let's go back for a second. She gets the pants from Bailey. Like Bailey drops them off at her house.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. What, do you have something before that?
I have a lot of stuff. What? I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 things
before. What the hell do you have before it?
So I have Bridget starts to develop an unhealthy crush on one of the coaches who's legally not allowed to date her due to their age difference, because that's what causes Bridget's whole issue. Carmen struggles speaking up, and her mom tells her to talk to her dad the way that she talks to her, but she refuses. So Carmen deals with like truth and vulnerability. And then Lena's grandmother discovers that she's met Costas, and his family's apparently a forbidden enemy, and she's forbidden to see him. I may have gone into too much detail.
Yeah, I think so. Because I tried to keep it to like major.
I was struggling. I had like 7 pages
hard.
of notes, and then I looked at yours and I was like, okay, Crystal has like 3 or 4. So I went through and tried to take out.
Did I send you mine?
You did.
Oh, okay. It's so long ago. I don't remember.
Because I was curious how you did your notes for it. Cause...
So Tibby has the pants now. She wears them when she meets the gamer boy. But that's like, she doesn't know anything about him. Like, she doesn't care about him. She's just doing the documentary, right?
Yeah, because Bailey introduced them.
Yeah. So when she sends them to Carmen, she says nothing exciting happened while she wore them. She only associates the pants with Bailey because Bailey's the one that brought him to her doorstep. That was like the same day when she's wearing the pants is when Bailey becomes her assistant, and that's how that's how she meets the boy.
Yeah, which gives her the interview to make her documentary good.
Yes. So setting up, she meets her potential future boyfriend. She meets Bailey, and Bailey is like her main storyline in this movie.
Yeah.
You know, changes her whole perspective and whatnot.
And I guess the kind of notes I have about Bailey is that Tibby doesn't see any good in the world and she doesn't like opening up to people. So I feel like because Bailey is so open to meeting people and open to the world, it like really digs at her because I think she's like subconsciously jealous of that freedom that she has with life.
Bailey's also like super positive and optimistic, you know,
which
and
is
Tibby's like not. So I, having had experience that when I met Jason, because he was very optimistic and
Who's
positive.
Jason?
My husband. When I met my husband, he was like super annoying all the time because he was always positive and always happy. And I'm like, do you ever have bad days? Can you just shut the fuck up? Like, and then it rubs off on you or whatever. You just, I don't know. Now I'm fine with it. But anyways, it used to really bother me in the beginning, just like it does with Tibby. So
yeah, relatable.
Yeah. Yes. All right. My next one. I don't know why we're so out of order. Lena writes Carmen, upset that she can't be open to love, while people like Bridget and Costas, who have lost loved ones, can be open to it again. She doesn't understand why she has this wall and won't let people in. And that's when she strips down, which is fucking weird, and jumps into the water and Costas joins her.
I think it was supposed to be like this metaphor of her like stripping herself emotionally.
Yeah.
Because Lena was really hard for me to dig at because I was like, what is she so afraid of? And I think it's just that like she's never been shown love. So she was afraid of it.
Probably. And she's like a pretty introverted person, you know?
She basically was just letting fear run rampant in her life.
Yeah. Which is, you know, happens. So.
Yeah.
So she finally lets Costas in, right?
Yes. By the way, though, when she goes to the fish market and is like eagerly looking for him.
Yeah.
It's hilarious.
It's cute. I mentioned that in her like general story, but not in this one, I guess, because nothing really happened, I don't think, right?
No, it was just that she just kept scooting closer and he's like, are you here looking for me? No.
Yeah. Carmen wears the jeans to the bridesmaid dress disaster fitting.
Oh, yeah.
She has a major meltdown and runs away. She doesn't feel like she fits into her father's world anymore, which isn't fair because she was in it first. Which, I don't know why I did it this way, but like Carmen's whole backstory is she like goes to see her dad over the summer and she's like bitch slapped with the fact that he's like engaged to somebody and the lady has 2 kids and he has his whole life without her, and that causes this whole meltdown. It's not just like a random meltdown. I don't know why I didn't put any of that in here.
I also think that, you know, Carmen lives a very different life than her dad does now with his new family. Mm-hmm. The way they're talking about her at the bridal shop, like they call her the other one.
Yeah.
I don't think Lydia means anything by it, but she's being very ignorant on how she's handling the situation.
Yeah.
But I'm glad that Carmen finally was able to speak her emotions, except she's still failing to do it with her dad at this point.
Yeah, it's like she blames everybody else except him.
Yeah.
For most of the movie anyways. All right, you go, because I feel like I'm jumping through a lot of stuff and fucking it up. Did I miss really important stuff?
Okay, so you did miss the fact that Tibby finds out that Bailey has cancer.
No, I just don't have, I'm just not there yet, I think.
And it's before. So Tibby finds out she has cancer. And so when Bailey comes up, she's like, do you want to come with me in the next interview? And that's when Bailey kind of realizes something's not right. And she's like, are you doing this because you're feeling sorry for me? And Tibby's like, I don't know, maybe. And I think Bailey really appreciates that raw honesty because she's never really seen Tibby be like that with her. And I think for Tibby, she's finally like, I'm an asshole.
Mm-hmm. You can't be an asshole to someone with cancer. So.
Yeah. and also especially it kind of makes you realize like I haven't given this girl a chance and she's been so nice to me and she's gonna die.
And she has more shit going on than you do. So like if she's being nicer, that should probably be a red flag for your character.
Definitely. Next one I have is, it's minor, but this is, you know, where Bridget really starts opening up to the coach that she keeps trying to hook up with. It's really weird how she goes and tells her like her vulnerable story. I mean, it's not weird. It's more in the sense of like, it's kind of upsetting because she's just really looking for someone to love her. Mm-hmm. And so she says about what happened to her, and then they go on a run against each other. But that's kind of like her first moment where she's really trying to dig in to get him to like see her for who she is and like her.
Yeah. I feel like Bridget's like, I don't know, maybe because she's not close to her dad and then her mom's gone, she just feels alone and she just wants somebody, you know?
Yeah.
She feels alone in the world.
I totally get that. You know, when your parents don't show you love in a very specific way, you're going to seek it out in other areas. Mm-hmm. It's just the way it is. And then I guess the next major point I have is that Carmen decides to go home. But before she does that, she throws a huge brick at her family eating dinner.
Yeah, we have the same, well, not really, but we have almost the same there, because I wrote that Carmen calls Tibby from the bus station that she's coming home because she snapped.
Yeah. I do feel bad for her that like her dad didn't go out looking for her. Like that was kind of messed up.
That was fucked up.
It's like she's still underage and she's your responsibility. You should have figured out where she was.
I know. He's kind of a shitty dad.
Yeah.
Sometimes. Yeah.
And then I have the next moment between Tibby and Bailey when they're looking at the stars. I feel like Tibby's finally being like really open, and you can tell it's super scary for her, and Bailey lets her know like she believes hope is out there and there's more to life, and she's honest that she is afraid of time and there's not enough of it.
Can kind of tearjerker moment, by the way.
Yeah, definitely. And I feel like this is where you start to see Tibby get attached to Bailey. Mm-hmm. And she wasn't looking for her friend. She's like, I have 3 others. And I think it also gives her perspective on like how someone so young and so sick can be so honest and really live in the moment. But Tibby's afraid to do any of that.
Yeah. And you kind of see Tibby's emotion for the first time in that scene, I feel like.
Yeah.
My next one is Lena's first kiss. Tells Costas all about her friends and how she wishes she was more like them.
Especially Tibby, because she marches to her own drum.
Yeah. She doesn't want to be afraid of life anymore. And that's when she has her first kiss with him.
Yeah. And how she says she has beauty, she talks about how like she has like a side of her that nobody's ever seen. So I'm trying to figure out, I think it's just that I was struggling to figure out what this is, because it's basically her just not knowing who she is and understanding how to shine. Yeah. And it's so cute how Costas like, I see everything. I don't know why I tried to do his accent.
His accent is like silly. So.
Yeah. Oh, and then the next thing I have is, it's a great example of Carmen. She prefers to be a hothead rather than be vulnerable. Tibby and Carmen are together, and Carmen's venting to her about what happened with her dad, but Tibby's dealing with everything going on with her and Bailey, and that Bailey is probably going to die soon. So Tibby's very silent, which is surprising. And when Carmen gets pissed at her and she's like, why aren't you taking my side? But Tibby's having like a change of view and heart on life. Mm-hmm. And she's like, why don't you just like forgive him? Because she's realizing, you know, life is short, you know, you shouldn't hold all these grudges. And I think that's, you know, Carmen doesn't want to admit that.
Oh, yeah. Tibby's like putting in perspective that like there's worse shit in the world than what you're dealing with, you know, like just talk to your dad.
Exactly. Like what you're dealing with sucks, but it's not that hard.
Yeah. You're not a 10 or 12-year-old, whatever Bailey is with cancer. So like,
yeah,
your shit's not that bad.
Yeah. And it sucks because Carmen has no context as to why her best friend's acting this way. That's not normal.
And I have, by the way, right before that Carmen writes Bridget that the pants didn't bring her luck either. So now they're like all thinking except for Bridget. She says she thought they'd make everything better, and she wishes that they bring Bridget good sense, which is really funny because
they don't
doesn't do that, that's for sure. Bridget writes to Lena about losing her virginity to Derek.
Oh yeah.
She thought it'd make her feel complete, but she feels empty, and she desperately wishes she could talk to her mom. She clearly, this is me talking here. She clearly needs guidance, is what I wrote.
Yeah, that moment's, it's really sad, and it breaks my heart because, I mean, everyone is different when it comes to sex, but I think when you're 16 and you do it for the wrong reasons, you really feel like shit. So, like, if you've ever had a one-night stand and you were looking for stuff in the wrong, place, you feel empty. Like, you feel exposed, you were vulnerable, you were looking for love. And yeah, so as a 16-year-old, she's filled with so many emotions that she doesn't even understand. And
she doesn't have a mom to talk to about it.
Yeah, because like that's the perfect woman in your life that you would want to talk to, your mom who has all this life experience that has maybe done something similar.
Yeah, that's sad. It's a sad moment, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what's funny? Oh, never mind. Go ahead. What was your next one? For some reason, mine is Carmen now, so we're not even close on this.
I also think that I was organizing these in weird ways. So we both were just, I don't know where we were when we were doing this. So the next one I have is that Costas and Lena go dancing, and she's like, being all
it's like their
flirty.
last night together.
Yeah, flirty and open, but he tells her that this is his last night, and she's super upset about it. But then her grandparents come in and break them apart, and they basically force her back to their house. And when she gets there, her grandmother shoves her face in water to wash off her makeup and basically scolds her about how she broke her promise and family is the most important thing. And I just feel like that really sucks for Lena because she finally was able to open up and she knows that she hurt her family, but at the same time, is she not, supposed to live life because of that?
So, what's really funny is I don't have that at all in here. I don't know what happened to it. My next thing about Lena is like when she's wearing the pants again, when she like talks to her grandpa about all this shit that goes down. But anyways, Carmen comes over to Tibby's and confesses that she is mad at her dad. Trying to mend things with Tibby, obviously. She has such a hard time admitting it, but she apologizes to Tibby. And then Carmen asks about Bailey and Tibby. Tibby doesn't know if she'll be okay. Tibby's like clearly upset about it.
She's deflecting so hard.
Yeah.
And trying to prove like, I don't care about her. She's annoying.
Yeah.
But I feel like Carmen knows her the best and she can tell. And then I love that montage where there's like shoving the phone back at each other. Because they're kind of like their normal selves again. And she's like, girl, just fucking do it.
Yeah.
As a good friend.
So then mine comes back to Lena because we were just talking about her. So the pants come back to Lena from Bridget, and she's wearing the pants when she confronts her grandpa about having a chance with Costas. And it's funny because her grandpa never really says anything in the entire movie. He says yes, go to him, and so she meets him as he's boarding the ferry back to Athens, and that's when she tells him she loves him. So she's opening up and being a real adult now. So
yeah, I wrote that she found a way to keep her family and her love. Lena is being her true self and taking risks.
She stood up for what she wanted.
Yeah, so, exactly. She found her voice.
Yeah. I'll admit, I don't know if I would have done that at 16 with my family.
She had the pants on. You might have if you had the pants on, girl.
Those magic crotch pants.
Magic.
Yeah. So we had just kind of talked about Carmen and Tibby, but we didn't fully get into it. My next thing is Tibby hands Carmen the phone to call her dad. Remember you were saying that they push back and forth. And that's when she finally opens up to her dad about how angry she is with him. And I love that. I love it though, because you just see her pour her heart out, and she's such a good actress. She said that she feels like he found a new family and traded her in for an upgrade, and she thinks he's ashamed of her, and she has all this anger about how he never had enough time for her. So it was really great to see her actually finally talk to him about it, even though he wasn't, what'd you say, he didn't say anything back or whatever?
Yeah, I think he wasn't expecting that much truth, and I think he realized how shitty he was being because he was just hyper focused on his life, and so I think it hurt him.
Bottom line, they both need therapy. Therapy. Not
totally.
That they never show that in the movie, but that's
Thank you for bringing that, because that's not in my notes. I don't know why. This is why you should do these things with two people.
I know, right? One can see the stuff that you didn't see, obviously.
Right. So the next thing I have is Tibby brings the pants to Bailey.
Yeah. Well, okay. It's because my sentence starts with Lena sends pants to Tibby. Now claiming that the pants do have magic.
Right? Because they helped her stand up to her grandpa and she got her love.
Yeah. So keep going. What were you saying about Tibby?
This scene is so upsetting. It probably breaks my heart the most out of everything. Tibby brings the pants to Bailey and she's hoping there's magic in the pants.
In the hospital. She's in the hospital.
And she only believes that there's magic in the pants because Lena told her and she trusts her because that's her best friend. Mm-hmm. And she wants Bailey to have them for a while because she needs them to help Bailey and she needs her to fight. And she's finally accepting that they're friends and she doesn't want to lose her. But Bailey says the pants already did their magic. It brought them together. And she asked Tibby to finish her movie because she can. Yeah. Bailey can't do anything in life anymore. And Tibby actually can do something. So she needs to push through all this that she's dealing with and do it. And I think Bailey's bravery and strength is what Tibby's been needing in her life. I'm choking up talking about this.
I know, and then Bailey passes away and it's so sad.
Yeah.
I always cry when that happens.
Mm-hmm. Amber Tamblyn, her stakes and desperation in that scene were just so high, and it was fucking heartbreaking.
Yeah, it was. It was a good scene.
Mm-hmm. And then when she goes home and she hears her mom on the phone and realizes that Bailey died.
I know, it's so sad. So sad.
Tibby's accepted that Bailey died and it's hard, but she's like, I have to follow through on my promise to Bailey, so I'm going to edit the movie. And she sits down and she realizes that Bailey recorded a secret tape. And I think when she watches it, it gives her hope and a better outlook on life, and she figures out a different meaning for her documentary.
Mm-hmm. I don't have that at all, so I'm glad you said it.
Look at us missing the most pivotal moments.
What the I remember like thinking, I don't know what my thought process was, but I thought I was doing good with picking out important stuff, but obviously not.
So I was telling Crystal, for anyone who wants to be a filmmaker, you should watch this movie because every scene is important because it literally propels the movie and the characters forward. And if you learn anything about screenwriting 101, each scene needs to move the story forward. And if it doesn't, the scene doesn't belong. So that is probably why.
There's no stupid scenes in this movie. Like, there's nothing that doesn't push it forward, and there's nothing that's not important, you know?
Yeah, so that's probably why you and me were overwhelmed with, like, all this information coming at us.
It's just like a show that you don't watch, but it's just like Game of Thrones. I'm not kidding. I'm sorry. I'm, like, really into Game of Thrones right now, and I'm rewatching it all. But literally every fucking scene moves the plot forward, and I swear to God, you think it's boring or whatever. I'm sorry, I shouldn't say that. I don't think anything in Game of Thrones is boring. But, like, there's, like, really long talks and things like that, but I swear to God, there's hidden shit everywhere in that show, and it all means something. So that's kind of how this movie is. So
real side distraction note, this girl I know from high school, she posted a story and she's like, I'm the 1% who's never seen Game of Thrones, and I'm like, no, there's 2 of us, 2%.
Yep. Oh, I have a couple friends that haven't seen it, so you're
we're
not
like
alone.
We're like a small 10%, but that's who I am.
You're not alone, but you gotta get in there.
I know. I finally have access to an HBO account, so it's gonna happen. It's just, I told you, Shameless. I'm addicted right now.
Yeah, you gotta get through Shameless. Anyways,
yes.
Back to the most important stuff here.
The heartbreaking thing.
This isn't, but Lena. Okay, my next thing is Lena. I don't know what yours is.
It's about the letter, right?
I don't know. I haven't read what I wrote.
Just read it, girl.
Lena's packing and finds Bridget's note that was lost under her bed. So basically, when she opened up the pants, I think like she never saw the note.
She was too excited. She needed that, inspiration.
She had to put on the pants and go find Costas. Tell him she loved her, or she loved him. Whatever. I can't talk today. She immediately calls the other two to go comfort Bridget because she's like out of the country and the other two are, near Bridget. So they get her to talk about her mom. This is Tibby and Carmen. Like, they're all hanging out with Bridget minus Lena, and they get her to talk about her mom. And they make her realize that it's okay to be sad and to miss her, but also help her to realize that she isn't going to end up like her mother either. Because the big thing about her mother, and I think when I was younger and I watched this, I never truly understood, because they never actually like really go into what happened to her mom, right? It's all just kind of sadness and let's not talk about it and whatever. But her mom has like depression, or
I think
not even just depression.
I think she's depressed or bipolar.
Yeah, no, I think it's both.
Yeah.
Because in the second one, the grandma's like, oh, she had her highs and she had her lows, which is
she
like
was bipolar then.
And or manic depressive, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
But she kills herself. So it's not just like she died, she had cancer or something. She kills herself, and I think Bridget feels like she shouldn't feel sorry for her. A lot of people feel this way about suicide for some reason, like that you shouldn't feel sorry for them. They did it to themselves, blah, blah, whatever. But it's like, if someone's going through something that rough that they feel the need to take their own life, like that shit is hard and that's deep, and you shouldn't hate them for it. I mean,
yeah, and plus what's going on in their brain, like if there's clearly issues and they can't fully understand what they're feeling and why they want to do it.
Yeah. You can be upset about it, but I mean, you don't have to. You can be sad that they're gone, but she doesn't seem to realize that. I think she thinks that she shouldn't be because of how it happened, but
yeah,
she's afraid of, and she's also afraid of being like her because you can inherit that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I put that because it's kind of from her lines, but she says she wants to feel good and happy and alive because then it won't feel true that she's dead, and if she's not sad, then it proves she's not like her mom. So I think it's like she's literally been pushing down all her feelings and suppressing them so hard and trying to force herself to be happy. But I think what the girls explained to her is that like you need to feel the sadness. Like it's normal to feel all this sadness, and it's important that you do. Yeah. And it's really unhealthy if you don't let yourself experience it.
I think Bridget's also thinking that like if she feels sad, she might be depressed, think about it. I remember being in high school, being a teenager, and just feeling, you have your ups and downs and your moods or whatever. But I remember when I would be like sad or feeling depressed or whatever, I would be afraid that I had depression, right? Like you just, that kind of hypochondriac feeling. And with her mother, she knows her mother had it. So I think she's afraid to ever feel sadness or feel alone because she thinks she's like her mom. And it's like, you have normal feelings. You have normal hormonal feelings,
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be
I can't
full on depression.
Remember what the name of the show is on Netflix. It's very controversial. It's the one about the girl Hannah Baker who commits suicide, but they had actual like
Is that the 13 Reasons Why?
Yeah, sorry,
one?
13 Reasons
I've never
Why.
watched it, but
It's really depressing. And but anyways, the thing I want to say about it is that they had actual PhD doctors on set, and they talked about how when you're a teenager, your prefrontal cortex is not fully developed, so everything feels heavier and like the end of the world. So then as a teenager, like your emotions are like 10 times higher. Yeah, it's probably really scary for Bridget dealing with all this, and especially like as a teenager. Like I even felt overwhelmed as a teenager, and I just didn't understand that like I just hadn't fully grown as a person, and I couldn't realize that like these things would pass.
I know.
Carmen also says that she has the strength that her mom never had, which I think is good that she tells her that. And then Tivy also says that she has them. So it sounds like her mom probably didn't have a lot of friends. And it's important that when you're going through something emotionally, you have people around you because that brings you up.
Well, it's funny too, if you think about it, now that we're analyzing Bridget's mom, because I've honestly never thought about it that much. But she does have friends. She has the other girls' moms' friends, right? Like, you know,
But we don't know like how deep they got distant or whatever.
Well, yeah. And something like bipolar or manic depressive, you know, that's something that you can't just, you know, if you've watched Shameless, right? Like
yes, the mom,
Monica, and then how far are you?
Spoiler, Monica just died.
So you're
it's like episode season 8 right now. She died.
Okay, so you're pretty far. So
yeah, Ian has it.
Yes. Okay, I didn't want to say that unless you. Yes. So Ian has it too. It's not something that you can just leave untreated. It's something that needs to be treated. So I don't remember where I was going with this.
Well, she could have pushed her friends away. She could have pushed people away.
Yeah. And I think in the second one, when Bridget meets her grandma, I'm pretty sure her grandma says that like she was in treatment for it or something. Like she went into a facility, and I think she was on meds. But you know, people get off their meds all the time. It happens. So you know, they never go quite into detail of how it happened, I don't think. But
yeah, either way,
maybe they do in the book. I don't know. But
either way, Bridget's story is also really sad.
Yeah. Getting back to the point.
Yeah.
Though. Yeah.
So the next point I have is Bridget and her dog.
Me too.
Okay.
Because we're at the end, we're getting close.
We are
together.
So Bridget runs after her dog out of the house. I think her dog's name is Maggie, which is really cute for a dog.
Yeah, it is.
She has the pants in her mouth. Maggie, the dog, does. And she ends up running into her coach that she slept with. So the pants have done it again, ladies and gents.
Nothing like making lots of awkward moments.
Right? He says that what happened between them was his responsibility and he should have stopped it, which I think is good.
He apologizes, which is
great.
Yeah.
Bridget owns up and says that she wanted it and she didn't stop him, but realizes it just made everything worse and caught up to her. And then he makes a cringy joke that says, "When you're 20, hit me up," which kind of bothers me because I feel like that takes away his whole apology.
I know.
But it makes her feel respected and appreciated and that he still likes her. And I put the pants, where's their magic again?
I know, right? They ended on like a friendly note though, so that was nice. But
it was tasteful but kind of cringy.
I don't like that comment either.
Yeah, it ruined his apology.
Yeah. They decide they have to get Carmen to her father's wedding, so they drive to the wedding, right?
Yeah.
I have one more, which means that I did not sum up this movie very well.
I have one more too.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
So Carmen, so they go to the wedding. Carmen's sitting there. Oh, well, first they tell Carmen to put the pants on. And she's like, I feel stupid like it's pants. They're like, just fucking put the pants on, Carmen.
Hey, I would feel stupid wearing jeans to a wedding too.
Totally. So I empathize with both sides. But I think it's good they had to put on the pants because she needed something to give her courage.
Yeah.
Her dad sees her. He realizes he's an asshole. And he goes up to her. He stops the priest. And he tells his wife that there's an important member of the family who should be up there with them. He says it's his daughter, and he goes to her. And she's like, I'm not dressed. And he's like, but I need you. And the girls give her a nudge. And he holds her, and she sobs, and it's so sweet. And all these characters just make me want to bawl my eyes out. And the ceremony continues, and Carmen finally smiles. A true smile of joy.
Which, it's a cute ending, and it's a movie, so I understand. But at the same time, like, her and her dad, that would not solve it all. They need a lot of fucking therapy. A lot of talking it out. Her dad like said almost nothing back to her on that phone call.
But I think it was his action.
No,
I know.
That's the bullshit. She needs, I'm sure she needs to actually hear things like that. So. Yeah.
But we don't have time for that in the movies.
No,
it's not a TV show.
Nobody wants to watch therapy.
So for Lena, Lena is shy and reserved. She has not ever let herself.
Wait, really? Is that refers to 3 words?
Yeah.
Shy and reserved.
That I did not copy. That I did not.
Just saying, oh my God,
that's creepy. This is why we're friends, remember?
I know.
We have the same brain. Okay. So Lena is very shy and reserved. She's never let herself experience life to the point that everyone focuses on her outside beauty, but she believes there's so much more inside of her, but she's terrified to explore that life because of the pain it might bring. Going to Greece is very important to her. I can't talk today. Going to Greece is very important to her arc. It takes her completely out of her comfort zone, away from her friends, which isn't a bad thing. Some people need their own space to grow. She notices a cute guy, takes a risk, ends up falling in the water. And it was the klutziest and best mistake she ever made because she met Costas, who challenged her to change and be more true to herself, find her voice, and use it. She felt so connected to him that even though she was scared, she could not stay away to the point. Even when her family found out, she didn't want to hurt them. So she took the approach of vulnerability while wearing the pants, and instead of pain, she found love and acceptance from her grandparents to go after Costas and tell him she loves him too. Lena normally always is in dresses, so whenever she had the pants on, this was her being her true self and finding her voice.
Yeah, and not only, as you were saying that, it brought up, I was thinking about all the, she dresses like a frumpy mom, right, in the beginning. Always covered up, and then if you notice on the very last, before their very last date, she buys that like kind of slutty dress. It's not slutty, but it's, you know,
it's more
spaghetti
flirty
strap,
and fun.
and it shows a little bit of cleavage or whatever.
Boobies.
A little more slim fit, you know, like shows off her frame because she's like fucking gorgeous.
Yeah.
But she wears these like god awful, they're not ugly, but just very flowy things that don't hug her body, right? So and then she wears the jeans and she wears that like cute t-shirt when she says I love you to Costas. Yeah. She's very quiet and reserved, as we said. And I think that this whole plot just like brings out who she really is, and she's not afraid to show who she is, right?
Yeah.
There's so many fucking teenagers out there that want to show their tits any chance they get, and she's like the opposite. She's like quiet, reserved, cool. Doesn't want to, you know, doesn't want to be a showstopper, but she kind of really is. So
yeah,
and she's really talented too.
Oh yeah, her art.
Yeah, like
I want to
be her when I grow up.
Yeah, I want to watch the second one just to look at Jesse Williams again.
I know. Grey's Anatomy. So cute.
All right, Tibby.
The Tibbs.
Tibby is very cynical about the world. She likes what she has and feels she doesn't need anything else, and everything is basically crap anyways. That all starts to change for Libby when she finds a girl passed out on the floor at her work. When the young girl comes to collect her belongings from Tibby, they get in a bickering argument after Tibby starts opening up to her and tells her she doesn't need any more friends. Bailey, the young girl, is intrigued with Tibby's project and wants to help and learn more about it. She shows up at Tibby's work and convinces her to let her help because she found a great interviewee. It goes well, and Tibby allows Bailey to tag along on more of them. She's annoyed at how well she does everything, and I think this is Tibby's way of keeping people at a distance. One day when Bailey doesn't show up, Tibby finds out from her neighbors that Bailey has cancer, and she stops seeking treatment. Tibby's point of view on Bailey changes her point of view on life. Once Tibby has to deal with the fact that Bailey's going to die, she finally admits that she's scared and she can't handle her dying and hopes the pants can help her. Tibby has always struggled to believe in anything, but with her friends believing in the magic of the pants and Bailey just having the belief in life, she's willing to trust anything. The ever so pessimistic Libby is looking for hope in a pair of magical Tibby. That's autocorrect again. But Bailey gives her strength, telling her it's okay, and this is how it has to end, and for her to finish the movie, because she can and she has time. This later helps Tibby realize that she needs to live her life and not be so negative about everything, because she actually has time to do things.
Yeah. With Tibby, I feel like she's very much a great example of like teenagers today, and maybe back then when I was a teenager too, but like they don't have it so fucking bad, but they feel like they do. You look at them and you go, you realize like you have it really well off compared to other people, right? But teenagers are just stuck in their little bubble.
Oh, that was me.
They can't see it. Me too. I mean, I think every teenager is like that, but it's just a great example. Like, look outside of yourself and realize that people are going through way worse shit in this world than you are. So, you know,
and life is really easy when you're 16.
Yeah, it is. Be grateful. Look at the good stuff, like give back, you know, things like that you just don't realize when you're a teenager. And Tibby obviously doesn't realize. So she's a hard worker too. Like she's not a shitty person or anything.
No,
she's
she
just
hustles.
Like, yeah, she's, you know, she does her like side projects. She has her shitty job at Wellman's and stuff like that. But she
AKA Walgreens.
Yeah, I know. But she just like thinks the world is out to get her, and it's like, no, dude.
Yeah,
the world is actually really good to you.
Definitely. So. Carmen in the film is also really struggling to find her voice and to be vulnerable. She has no problem expressing herself in other ways, especially through a hot temper. When she's visiting her dad, she calls her mom to tell her everything that's going on, and her mom says, "You need to talk to him like you talk to me," but she still can't do it. When she finally returns home, her and Tibby get into a huge fight, and instead of letting her guard down and being honest with Tibby about what's going on, she hides behind her anger. I think Carmen is very afraid that everything her mom has been saying for years about her dad is true, and he really has moved on, especially with his new quote-unquote family. She would rather stay angry than face the scary truth. It is truly Carmen's friends that get her to face her fears. They force her to attend the wedding and in the pants, which is far from wedding attire. Carmen was really big on the pants being something magical for her and her friends, but now she doesn't want to wear them. The pants are a metaphor for Carmen finally letting her guard down and to attend the wedding of her dad, which might tell her the truth she's terrified to face, or the truth that would mean the world to her, that he really does care. Her dad sees her at the wedding, pauses, and he brings her to stand up by him. Her friends give her the extra nudge she needs, and she breaks down in tears. And Carmen is finally happy, and she knows the truth.
Yeah, with Carmen, if I could just expand on Carmen, if you notice, the entire time, like when she first goes to see her dad, she always calls her mom and blames her mom.
Yeah.
She's always blaming her mom for the, that's just the way you see dad or whatever and blah, blah, blah,
I never thought about that.
Yeah. And then she puts her anger towards her mom. Then she puts it towards her friends, the new wife, new stepmom.
Lydia.
So she's basically like trying to blame everybody else except her dad, because I think she puts her dad on a pedestal or something because of the fact that she doesn't get to spend that much time with him, and she doesn't want there to be problems between them, and just a lot of misplaced teenage anger.
I agree with that.
But I mean, at the same time, as I said before, she needs a lot of therapy. Her and her dad need a lot of fucking therapy. As I said earlier, it was nice the way it ended, but they make it seem like everything is like healed, and you can tell that there's like a lot of deep shit that she actually needs to talk to him with. Just like bringing her up there at the end isn't going to solve it all, but it's like a first good step, second good step, because she did call him before. So
yeah, I think for their story and Carmen's arc, it was just that she really needed to finally speak the truth and also face the truth, regardless of what it was. Like you said, she was putting her dad on a pedestal for so long.
Yeah.
That she wasn't being real about the situation. And I think that's
blaming
what
everybody else except him too.
Yeah, and I think that's what her mom was trying to tell her, is like, you just need to fucking talk to him.
Yeah.
Because he can't read your mind and you can't read his, and you guys need to be on the same page.
Yeah.
Obviously her mom was bitter for her own reasons, but I think it's good for the most part that she was like, just talk to him, because clearly you're not listening to me. Mm-hmm. So you just need to know what's going on. Okay, so Bridget is going through a lot when this film starts. Her mother's just died and her dad's really distant. All she has is her friends to keep her afloat. When she goes away to camp, she avoids all questions about her mom and focuses her attention on the hot older coach. She does everything.
Who is not that hot, by the way.
No, he's not. He was only in a few movies.
Costas is way hotter.
Oh, yeah. She does everything possible to get his attention. He keeps shutting her down because she's underage, but Bridget doesn't care. She stays positive and takes everything as a challenge. When the pants arrive, she's so happy and believes in their magic too. She uses them the night she decides that she's going to get the coach to be the one she loses her virginity to. She walks past his cabin after hours and waits for him on the beach. He arrives and it happens. However, after it happens, she writes to Lena, realizing something she thought was supposed to fill her up with happiness actually has her feeling more empty than ever. And she doesn't understand this, and she wishes her mom was still there, talk to her about it, and explain how hard it is. Unfortunately, Lena accidentally sees this letter a few weeks late and immediately calls to tell the girls, which is good because her father suggested a welcome home party with her friends, and she immediately declined and just wanted to be alone. The girls arrive hand in hand with junk food for her, and they finally get down to the heart of what's been eating at Bridget. She was working so hard to be happy because hopefully then she wouldn't become sad over her mom dying. And that's just a really heavy weight for her to carry. And her friends remind her that she's not alone. And she just, I think at the end of the day, needed to talk to someone, which was her friends. And they were able to help her see that what she's feeling is not the end of the world and she won't become her mom. And then the next day when she runs into the coach, I think that also clears up some closure by him apologizing, and then she also accepts what she did, and her realizing that it didn't make her feel better, but hating on it and trying to regret it isn't going to make it better either. And she still has her life to live. She needs to let herself feel things and experience them, and be at peace with the decision she made about having sex.
Yeah. Bridget's like, it's a hard one because I love Blake Lively, but I really don't like her character, Bridget. I always found her just very slutty and very one-sided, one-dimensional, you know? Like, she doesn't have a lot that she does except slut it up with this guy. Like,
yeah,
it's entirely her plot line, you know?
Yeah,
until they finally get down to, like, the mom issue.
Yeah, they made her very stereotypical.
Yeah.
They could have given her character more depth.
Yeah, so...
I think they were typecasting her off Serena.
Maybe, but... Man, it always bothered me. I don't know why. It's just, I don't like the way she just sluttered it up and like, she just takes charge and just, it's just too much.
It was a very typical, like, I have daddy issues kind of storyline.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, at the end, I liked the way they closed it out, and I liked the fact, you know, they make her realize that, yes, she needs her mother's guidance, which she's not going to get, but she can get it in other places, like her friends, you know? Like her friends.
I think she was struggling to realize that.
And they just make her realize that they're there for her and that she's not going to become her mom because they're not going to let her become her mom, you know? And I actually liked Bridget a lot more in the second movie when she, like, has more of a depth and plot line and cares about things other than having sex. Yeah. Because literally that's her whole point is to have sex in this movie.
To feel better.
And for me as a teenager, that was not, like, my number one goal. So I never connected with her.
Related,
you know? Yeah. I was much more like a Lena, so.
Oh, yeah, you were totally Lena. I would say it was like a Tibby.
Yeah.
And a little bit of Carmen. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
But so these movies have always been really special to me just because I feel like there's not really stories about young teenage girls going through hard stuff and having friends there for you. Because I will admit, I was boy crazy as a teenager.
Yeah, you were. I could never keep track of how you would, like, tell me all about them and give me their name, and I would immediately forget them because you just
there was a new one.
There's so many. Yeah, I know.
I
felt bad, but I never.
It's okay. I wanted to be popular. I just didn't know who I was. Yeah. And I wish that I had more of an influence in my life to remind me that female friendships are important. When growing up, they can help you through a lot. Growing up, I just, I wasn't in the right headspace, unfortunately. And I'd wish I'd had, I feel like there weren't a lot of movies out there besides this one that really represented, sisterhood. Most of the movies were like,
bring it on.
Bring it on. She's all that. It was really about, like, how to be popular, how to be pretty, and how to get the boy. And
girls hating on other girls.
Yeah. And so it didn't help that, like, at my school, like, the girls I was friends with, a lot of them weren't very nice. Like, I don't know what I was doing with my life. I'm not going to hate myself for it. It's hard being a teenager. But yeah, this movie was pretty much like one of the only things that existed for girls to really discover how to lean on each other and how important friendship is. And especially, like, being friends with your sex. Like, it's really important to lean into that, especially for girls specifically, because we're taught to be competitive against each other. Yeah. And we should just always be bringing each other up.
It's true. I'm a big proponent of that.
Yeah. And so I guess I don't really have a friend group. I have Crystal, who I can lean on for everything.
Now you're talking about?
Yeah.
Or then?
Now.
Because I didn't have a friend group back then.
Yeah, you have a friend group now, kind of. No, I guess you know a bunch of girls, but you guys don't all hang out all the time.
No, nothing like that. We're not like a foursome thing going on here. Nothing like that, no.
It'd be cool to have one of those, but I'm all quality over quantity.
Yes, totally true.
Yeah, but I do like their friendship dynamic. I think it's great.
Yeah, what this means to me. So I'm going to just skip over the first part because you basically hit the nail right on the head. It's like...
Oh, thanks.
Yeah. It resonates. This is what I wrote. It resonates with me not only as a female, but as a hormonal teenager, just like you just said. Yep. All right. But anyways, the more important stuff. So this movie reminds us that friends are really the best medicine. And unlike family, you get to choose them, as you stated, which I am a big proponent of. I love choosing friends and hanging out with them more than family usually.
Yeah. I mean,
don't tell people I said that.
It's, it's like your chosen family.
Yes. It made me especially reminisce about my first love and your first loss, the first time you lost your virginity. It's really interesting to watch it now, like as an adult, and think back to your teenage days. All at once, it reminds us how innocent we once were, how naive we used to be, and how bold and stupid we were, all in such a short time span. I mean, this movie, God, it just like plays with your emotions and takes you down nostalgia lane, whatever you want to call it. Although no girl has the exact same story of how they found themselves, I believe this movie can be applied to all of our stories. We have all had those summers where we felt separated from a friend, where we doubted who we were, where we had a crush or found love, where we lost a loved one, or just fought with someone, which is like all the time, by the way. And we all had to get through it to find a different side of ourselves, to grow as a person and realize our full potential, which is exactly what they do in this movie. Not everyone has a group of 4 friends, but I think it's a great example of every friendship. I think, and if you look at it, I think their friendship, even though there's 4 of them, they form a really good single friendship. Together, they make what should be one really good friendship, if that makes sense. Everyone needs someone that they can write or call when their world is crashing down around them, or when something amazing happens and they just need to share it. And it's exactly what they do. And it kind of like made me realize that I need to do that more, like share with my friends, you know, and like you don't have to write them letters, but just
being vulnerable and just being real about your feelings.
Yeah, sharing your life. I feel like now that we're older and married or with significant others, like you don't share with your friends anymore. You share with your significant other, and that's it.
Yeah.
And it doesn't have to be that way. You should be able to see your friends and vent.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. The relationship that you have with your girlfriends is very different than, you know, who you're in a couple with. The bond is just different. The way that they can relate to what you're going through is just completely different. And so, yeah, even if you're a guy, like it's just important to have friends that you connect with and open up to, and not always just rely on your significant other being your place.
Yeah. Really good story on friendship.
All right. Well, thanks for tuning in for this week's episode of Best Friends Playbook podcast. Next week, what
are we doing next week?
We are doing Gilmore Girls.
Yay. It's like a couple episodes of Gilmore Girls, right? We're going to get deep in there. Yay.
See you next week. Bye.
Did we just become best friends? Yup. I think this is the beginning of a beautiful friendship.
Thanks for listening to Best Friends Playbook podcast. You can follow us on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook.
You can also email us episode suggestions at bestfriendsplaybook@gmail.com. And if you could please leave us a review on iTunes, it helps us greatly to grow our podcast.